All right, good evening, night shift. My name is Adam Cole. I'm one of the plans chiefs with the Alaska team. This is the night shift briefing for the monument fire for Thursday night, August 19th into Friday morning, August 20th. For those of you out in those camp environments listening to the briefing this morning in groups of people, please go ahead and mask up for your counterparts. Try to keep your distance as you can out there. Current size of the monument fire, 136,379 acres. Containment remains at 10%. And personnel is 1,572. That is quite a jump up, and that includes both the north and south zones. And we'll start off tonight's briefing with a review of the current situation with Operations John Glover.
All right, good evening. Good evening, everybody. So we'll start over in Branch 1 with today's operations. Division Alpha continued patrolling this piece on the lower end. Everything's holding pretty well. As you work around to the 60 road, everything's holding in that place fairly well. As a little bit of depth they're gaining. It's working its way back down into the structures. Flew that with IR today as well. They're actually out there right now looking for the MODIS spots, the infrared spots that we picked up the other day, trying to validate those. So as they get SA on that, we'll send a couple of folks in there. No significant growth or activity on that, but they did have pretty clear air on Branch 1 all day long. So it gave them a little bit of activity, but it's working well for gaining depth off of the edge, backing down into closing some of these pockets. Up across the highway into Division Echo, Hawkins Bar area, fire continued to back down slope to the New River. We did hit one of our management action points, so that sent some things into motion for Denny and the surrounding areas. But things are backing in a controlled fashion down that slope. We were running heavy helicopters on that most of the afternoon, and continuing to do that now to keep things in check as it backs up to the proposed dozer line that we're looking at in Big Creek here. So things we're holding in there still validated the line and the utilization of that, and then some folks were up working further along Big Creek Road and picking up the slops that they had on the north end. So a lot of good situational awareness, and things are still holding in our favor there, even with the clear air. Working our way over into Branch 10, Division Uniform, and Division Mike. Folks in here, we're continuing to open up the road as it goes north, past Montgomery Road, on the East Fork Road, and then also up the 2NY Road. So that operation was going well, continuing to brush that piece out, and then as we get further north, scouting and validating options that we can take up kind of to the wilderness boundary through that wedge, and progress is going well in that area. Things are holding with the spots, no significant growth on the east side there. They did have a chance to fly that with IR, and the one spot was showing a lot less heat, and the other one that had a little bit more activity, and it had not made any significant runs or development. Everything else along the 299 corridor in Junction City, where we get to the zone break, was holding well and patrolled through that piece, and then also through West Group's piece as well. They pulled a fair amount of hose through the middle of the fire as well. Did have a talk with folks in Branch 20 and 30, their operations folks. They're continuing to do good work, hold that thing tight where they can, continuing with indirect operations and working with our counterparts right on the perimeter of the zone break. In Branch 40, a lot of moving parts in here today, looking at options to come across the zone break with dozer line coming off of Cal Fire's country, bringing it in either close to the fire or other options along High and Palm Road, up in the break area and to the east of the branch break. The fire activity around High Press was still holding along the lines, being patrolled in there, and then a little bit of activity south of there, but they were able to construct indirect line all the way out to the Patterson Peak Jeep Trail. So a lot of good progress there as well. They did put a couple of check lines along the way, and then they're scouting out and looking for good opportunities to come down this steep, rugged country off of Patterson Peak Jeep Trail and then back across down in the bottom. So other than that, pretty good all the way around. And yeah, I'll pass it back off.
All right, thank you, John. As far as incident objectives tonight, I would like you to review those in the IAP. They're inside the front cover there on page 3. We did add an objective. It's coordinate with CAL FIRE Team 5 to provide a unified strategy and consistent public messaging for the north and south zones. You'll also see some control objectives underneath the management objectives, and I'll read those. Keep the fire north of Highway 3 and Highway 36. Keep the fires south of the Siskiyou and Trinity County line while preserving wilderness characteristics. Keep the fire east of the South Fork of the Trinity River and New River. And finally, keep the fire west of Highway 3. Next, we'll go to weather.
All right, good evening, Ryan Walburn, incident meteorologist. So just to kind of give an idea of what's going on out there right now, a lot of the heavy smoke that you're probably not seeing if you're in Willow Creek right now, but those of you, if you're dialing in from Weaverville, you're seeing it. So that's still coming from the river complex. That's essentially shaded us out for most of today. For your nighttime operations, the kind of the evening up canyons, of course, are going to be easing off by the time you guys get down there or get out to the line. Just be advised that we still kind of hold on to a little bit of that northeast flow if you're up in Echo or down in Alpha. If you're going in on the river group, you'll get some better humidity recoveries on the river there, as much as 60 or 70%, but the mid-slopes where the fire is still active, it'll only recover about 40% or so. Overnight lows roughly in the upper 50s to mid-60s. And then, of course, if you get after midnight through the pre-dawn hours, the winds should essentially become negligible out there tonight. Thanks.
Good evening, Brad Washa, Fire Behavior. In 1999 was a new division soup and was assigned to, I believe, the Big Bar Fire. And on that fire, I got the night division, and my job was to keep the road to Denny open. And on that road, every night it seemed like the fire was slowly backing in, but never wanting to fully back into the Denny road. And finally, after 3 or 4 nights, I decided, well, let's maybe add a little fire in there. And we did that, and almost immediately the fire took off, spotted across the road. Luckily we were able to catch it. But I tell you that story because you know, these night operations can be very pivotal for what we're setting up for tomorrow. And tomorrow, with the forecast and looking at what might be going on as far as getting some clearing conditions, having us set up for tomorrow is very important, especially in Division Alpha, where we might get clear air. Not that you're going to be able to do much in Echo, but some of these areas are important for tonight. So fire behavior-wise, you know, that cap that's on the fire itself, that effect isn't as great in the evening hours, and those dry fuels are really what's driving that fire behavior. So be heads up with that tonight and stay abreast to any snags and that sort of stuff out there. Thanks.
Okay, again, John Glover, operations. For tonight's plan, we'll start in branch 1. Folks, for night alpha, be continuing to monitor the progress along the 60 road in and around this area and ensure that we don't have any spots cross the line. Patrol as far out as we need to on the south and east side. Up in Echo, maintain a presence in Hawkins Bar, monitor the fire as it backs down in New River, and then over here on Big Creek Road and by off road as well. Maintain a presence out in there and just ensure that that's meeting our control objectives and we don't have any significant spots or slops across New River. Over in branch 10 for night ops, we'll continue to monitor and patrol the 299 to the zone break in and around the structures that we have in uniform and along the 299 corridor. Provide support for Delta Delta if they have a need as well. and then just monitor any activity that could push on the north side. In branch 40, they'll keep an eye on hay press. We're going to run some IR missions with the UAS platform in there, and if needed, stay ahead of any movement that comes out of Knowles Gulch in this area, moving to the west. And then additionally, with contingency, folks support Division Romeo, and or anything that moves across or near the zone break with CAL FIRE Team 5. Other than that, have a safe operation this evening. Look out for each other.
Greg Locust, COMEL trainee. Everyone will need to clone. We've made some minor changes, and we've added the Monument South zone. The IEP now has 3 incident radio communication plans, 205s. Page 38, Monument North. Page 39, Monument North IA. Page 40, Monument South Zone. As a reminder, those in the North Zone will contact North Communications, and then those in the South will use South Communications. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Tom Grilling, safety trainee. I want to acknowledge those folks that have a demob date closely approaching, and we often find ourselves allowing our thoughts to drift towards home and what that's going to look like for us, and that could really bite us. So you've been doing a great job with the hazard mitigations out there. Just keep doing that, and just try to remain focused until you are officially released, and then your next mission is to get home safely. We appreciate the job you're doing out there, and have a good shift. Thank you.
Good evening, Meredith Lund Medical. First thing I want to do is go to the back page, and I wanted to give you some homework. If you look at number 4, it has a transport plan. We have some fantastic medical resources out there for you. They're working with UTVs, they're working with trucks, but we still need your help at the initial place where we might have a medical emergency in order to be able to get somebody out. So your assignment is to determine where you are and the best way that you would use in order to get somebody out if we had a medical emergency. Homework for tonight. Now to the front page of the IEP, and I want to talk about elephants. And in the elephants regard, I want to talk about how to eat an elephant. There are 2 ways to eat an elephant. First way is to eat it by swallowing it whole. Second way is to eat it 1 bite at a time. When we hear the word COVID, we instantly want to swallow the elephant whole and hope it will go away. What I'm asking you is that we take the time to eat the elephant 1 bite at a time. First bite of the elephant is on the front page of the IAP, and that is the COVID hotline. That's your first bite. If you flip the first page of the IAP over, the cover, on that second page, we will walk you through the next steps to eat the next bites of the elephant in order to get you the help that you need, in order to get you back to helping us fight the fire the way we want you to fight it. Stay safe. Have a great day. Thanks for your time.
All right, night shift. Adam Cola again with plans. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about the IAP, particularly a couple 204s, which are otherwise known as assignment lists, where you guys see your names there listed. John from Operations mentioned some of you working in Division Zulu and Division Uniform, and then your brothers and sisters down here in the South Zone working on Delta Delta and Romeo Romeo. When you look in your IAP, you'll see some Romeo Romeo and Delta Delta ICS 204s that include your neighbors, who they are, and what their frequencies are for those adjoining divisions. If you guys find yourself supporting those tonight, please take a look at the IAP. I think the information will be extremely helpful for you. Thank you.
Hello, night shift. Wanted to visit with you about a couple of things, and you've been hearing a lot about priorities and objectives, and we have matched up our management objectives and priorities with the South Zone And so on those priorities, if we have something that is of need, you heard Adam talk about plans and why we've got the communication plan in the IAP. We're getting you set up so that you have the ability to be able to go into that area with our leadership and provide the assistance that's needed. On our objectives, there's a couple of words that I want to focus in on, and that is the firefighter and providing for you and what you need. We are working hard as an incident management team to provide everything that you need when it comes to sleep, when it comes to food, when it comes to supplies, when it comes to your comfort, so that you can get the work done that we need to get done on the fire line. So, we know that in Weaverville you've been in a lot of smoke, a lot of different evenings. Even if you're coming into Reading or whatever location that you're at, we know that it's a lot of smoke. We're trying to provide some opportunities for you to get out of that. Logistics has ordered some air scrubbers. Those should be in place if they're not already here pretty soon, so that you can at least get out of the smoke a little bit. There's going to be things that come up that you recognize that you may have as a need, or that we need to provide for you as an incident management team. Please make sure that you get with us. We all wear these blue shirts with the Alaska logo on it. You can contact any single one of us, and if we don't know the answer, we'll be able to get it for you from somebody else within the incident management team. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is building relationships. That's one of our objectives that you'll find in the IAP. And I said it this morning, and you're the face of the franchise. You represent us in each one of the communities in which you're working. Relationships take years to build, as each one of you know, can take seconds to break down. So we ask that as you interact with the public, you have patience with them, you answer their questions if they have them. If you don't know the answer, please make sure that you direct it to the right person. And if you don't clearly know the answer, make sure that you don't make something up and you get that to our public affairs or somebody within the organization, and they will be able to answer those questions for you. We're grateful for everything that you're doing for us. Continue to work hard, be safe, and have a good shift. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chuck, and thank you, everybody. And night shift, I hope you have a great evening. This is the end of your briefing. Division breakouts will happen in your local areas immediately following this briefing. If you're unassigned, you can't find yourself on the IAP, you don't know where you're working, go ahead and see one of those division supervisors or branch directors out there. They'll get you set up. Your other local briefing following this radio briefing or briefing here on the Zoom might include some logistics information as well, or anything else specific to your environments out there in camp. Have a great night, everyone.